Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to English class. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting lesson, A Long Walk Home, that is a personal narrative. Here are the objectives of our today's lesson. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to read and comprehend the text, analyze passages in the text to identify the theme, general subject, key ideas and supporting details, and you'll be able to answer the questions based on your comprehension of this text. Before we start our lesson, we need to understand what actually a personal narrative is. A personal narrative is a form of writing that shares your personal experience, including what you did and how you felt about your experiences. Now, here are the features of a good personal narrative. The first feature, it tells a story from personal experience. It uses past tense to express the writer's feeling. It employs the first person as point of view. It uses narrative techniques like dialogue, description, and pacing. It records events in a sequence that makes sense, and you cannot describe the events haphazardly. You have to maintain the sequence of events, the sequence in which they have happened. Use of transitional words and phrases plus clauses is very important to maintain the sequence and to make it more clear. Use of concrete words and phrases and sensory details or imagery to describe events and people. Now, while reading, you have to take care of all these points. You have to see how the writer has used all these features of personal narrative in this long walk home. You can read this story yourself. I have the main points of this story mentioned in the first two paragraphs. Okay, the story takes place in a little community called Estepona, and the name of that village is also mentioned over here, where the writer has to take his father. It was 18 miles away. The narrator is 16-year-old, and the name of the narrator is Jason. Okay, he is asked by his father to drive him into a remote village. Name of the village, Mijas. Okay, he was asked by his father to drive him to a remote village which was 18 miles away on one condition. What was the condition? That he would get the car serviced from the garage. On this condition, he would be given this responsibility of driving the car. The offer was readily accepted. Readily accepted is what it was immediately accepted by the narrator or by Jason, because he was very fond of driving since he had learned driving uh, at that particular time. He was a new driver, and being a new driver, he readily accepted and he wanted to drive the car. He dropped his father at the village and promised to get back at 4 p.m. Now, look at the promise made by Jason. He promised his father that he would pick up the car at 4 p.m. Having spare time in hand, he decided to catch a couple of movies. Now, since he had uh, time in his hand, so he just made up his mind, or he decided to watch a couple of movies. However, he got so immersed means he got so absorbed or so busy in watching movie that he didn't notice time, and it was 6 o'clock and he was 2 hours late. Now, to handle the situation, now here the story takes turn. This is the main part of the story. To handle the situation, he came up with the idea of telling a lie to satisfy his father, because he knew that his father would ask him why he was late. He told his father that the car needed some major repair, so he got late. So this was made up lie. Okay. When he tells this, his father gives him a look, and that look given by his father, he can never forget. He tells this one that he could never forget that look which was given by his father when he told that the car needed some major repairs. His father was greatly disappointed by his lie. Now, it means something was wrong. It means his father already knew what the actual situation was. Now, here the writer has used the direct speech or the dialogue. I'm disappointed that you feel you have to lie to me, Jason. These were the exact words of the father. What do you mean? I'm telling the truth. Now, these were the words, or this was the reply of Jason. Now, uh, on this page or in these paragraphs, you will come to know about Jason's response when his father tells him that I'm disappointed. Then his father's response when he tells, "What do you mean I'm telling the truth?" And then the result of his lie. Jason tried to convince his father that he told the truth, and again his father's look made him uneasy. Why it made him uneasy? As if his father knew the reason of his late arrival. Now, father's response, okay, when he was convincing his father that he was telling the truth, Dad told him the reason of his late arrival, as he had already called the garage to inquire about the issue, and the garage people, they had informed that Jason had not showed up to pick up the car. And this was the situation, this was the point when a rush of guilt ran through Jason as he feebly confessed his trip to the movie theater, which was the real reason of his tardiness. Tardiness means real reason of his being late. But already he had told a lie. Now it was useless even if he confessed his crime or even if he confessed his lie. Now he told or he confessed his lie with a guilt, with a rush of guilt. Okay, he was very embarrassed, he was very guilty, and while confessing, a rush of guilt ran through his body. Now, father was greatly disappointed due to his lie. He told Jason that he wasn't angry with Jason, but he was angry with himself, and this was more distressing because his father was going to punish himself rather than punishing Jason. A is missing over here, okay? Now, what was the result of this lie? His father punished himself by walking 18 miles home on foot in order to contemplate. In order to contemplate means order to reflect upon, in order to think about where he had been wrong all those years and why he had been failed to teach his son moral values. Now, this punishment was given by his father to himself. He didn't punish Jason for telling a lie, but he punished himself because he felt that he was a failure if he couldn't teach his son the moral values. Now, what was the result of this punishment given by his father to himself? Seeing his father in so much physical and emotional pain, it was the most distressing and painful experience for Jason, though his father had not punished him. But this was the most severe punishment given by his father because this was emotional punishment. He was feeling so much guilty, and uh, this was the most painful experience for Jason as he was watching his father walking 18 miles home. He didn't sit in the car. He told his son to drive the car. He was making apologies. The rest of my utterances were useless. Whatever he was talking, it was useless. His father was not listening to him. And he kept on walking 18 miles. And this was the most painful experience for Jason while watching his father in so much physical and emotional pain. But on the other hand, this was the most successful lesson as he never lied to his father again in his life. So this was the most painful experience as well as the most successful lesson that he learned. So the story, it teaches the readers also a valuable lesson of being honest, being loyal and faithful to our parents, to our elders and to our teachers. Sometimes we do get into situations which prove quite embarrassing and we feel that taking refuge into lies might save us from embarrassment, but that is the worst attitude and against the moral values and ethics. So we should never take refuge in telling lies. Moreover, this brings us to a great loss in form of our parents' mistrust in us, which sometimes can never be regained. I would end up my lesson with this beautiful quotation: a single lie discovered is enough to create doubt in every truth expressed. You can never regain the trust of your parents, your elders, and your teachers once you tell a lie to them. Okay, hopefully you would have understood. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.